So, thank you all for being here. I'm going to jump right in because we don't have a lot of time. And it's been wonderful listening to the various people talking here. I continue with the theme of connection, as it turns out, talking about technology transfer. So, I started using technology, computers in teaching in 1984. I was part of the TESOL's call intersection from early on. And what drove me to be an advocate was not the usual rhetoric about saving teachers from drudgery by turning computers into glorified workbooks. Instead, it was how to find a way that teachers without a lot of money, without a lot of resources, could use technology effectively to help their learners and to help themselves. It was never particularly, sorry about that, never particularly cheap to use computers. I mean, technology replicated the divisions in societies and cultures. It was fastest, easiest to use, and most powerful in societies that had the most resources. And it was often cheapest in the wealthiest countries too, because other places had tariffs and taxes that made it less affordable. So, and then with the advent of the internet and then the World Wide Web, digital infrastructure became another barrier to access. It was not too surprising that those who paid and who still pay by the minute for internet access are in the countries with the least resources. So those of us with unlimited text, free Wi-Fi, and virtually unlimited data live in a different world. And when we have natural disasters, such as those affecting Puerto Rico, we push all of those who used to have resources back into a much earlier time, the 1980s or before, with no power, no phone, no data, just cut off. And let me give a shout out now to our colleagues in Puerto Rico and their families who are doing what they can to get by. And please do donate. So, when I was in Santos, Brazil in 1998, I could write my email messages and then log on and send them as a batch pretty easily. But I remember trying to load one static web page at 7 a.m., hoping there would be less traffic. It took 15 minutes to get one web page to load. So this was not Web 2.0, but rather Web 0.5. There was, like much in technology, the early web was just not really available in less resourced areas. And then Mosaic was one of the first widely used web browsers that allowed people to have embedded images, which of course were what didn't load in less resourced areas. But the pages were also information givers. You sat there and you took what they gave you, and you liked it or you didn't. You needed to be able to search effectively, but that was about it. And with in 1985, my fellow Oregonian Ward Cunningham came out with WikiWikiWeb, which was one of the first ways that people could contribute to the web pages that they viewed. So WikiWikiWeb, very like its current Wikipedia, is based on the same idea of allowing people to participate in this knowledge sharing. And with Web 2.0, what we've got is a lot more connections with people. However, it takes more bandwidth, and with more connections, there's more risk. There has to be critical thinking and defensive browsing. So young learners in particular need to be aware that they may be looking at an adult, not a kid. And when we move to Google and cloud-based applications, we've widened and narrowed the digital divide. Simultaneous or shared editing of Google Docs allows people distant from each other to collaborate where Google isn't being blocked. And if a document is in the cloud, it can be accessed anytime, anywhere, but generally only if you are online. And increasingly, companies are eliminating the ability to buy software, download it, and use it without additional cost. It's shifted to subscription based, where you've got a monthly or an annual cost and you need a credit card. The free apps that we so love come at the cost of our personal data. And so when we talk about digital literacy, it includes not only the ability to search well, think critically, but being aware of what you are giving away with every web page you click on, every app you download, and everything that you do online. So, a groundbreaking change in what we as English language teachers do came with small things, the mobile phones, and they're almost now universal access. I was in a taxi in Gabon in West Africa a few years ago, and the driver excused himself for a few minutes to run in and buy a card so he could keep using data on his phone. I mean, he didn't have unlimited text and data, but he could buy 30 minutes worth of voice text data, even as a taxi driver in a definitely under-resourced place. So, all of our phones, even if they're dumb phones, they've got video, typically video recording cameras, audio recording. So you can create digital stories, even on the stupidest phone. And with a smartphone, we carry the world in our pockets now, as long as you have Wi-Fi or you're with someone who has access. When you look at technology that's now widely available and affordable to just about everyone, this means that transferring knowledge about technology is more important than ever. Technology links us, but it still separates us. Those who have full access to information and the ability to separate truth from fiction, to think critically, will do better economically and socially than those with more controlled access to information who can't really tell truth from fiction online. Internet scams target those who know less, often older people and those with fewer language skills, and those who don't have tech savvy friends and resources. Now, there's a gap between those who can exploit others because of what they know about technology and those who are the targets and who find it hard to keep themselves safe. So nowadays, it's not just about wealthy communities and poorer communities, haves and have-nots. Technology transfer is knowledge about technology transfer, and the need is large. So, oops, there we go. So, fortunately and fundamentally, our job is to help ourselves, our colleagues, and our learners have the knowledge that they need to use today's technologies wisely, to connect ourselves to each other well, to build these links between us well. And whether we're transferring knowledge across the hall or across the globe, we need to exert ourselves to make a more equitable world. And that's why we're doing this, to help our colleagues in Puerto Rico too. So I encourage you to donate, and to donate often, donate early, and help. So thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you, to join my colleagues in bringing us all together for this excellent cause. And if you have questions, feel free to email.